This is a story of how a DIY project almost made us throw in the towel and seriously question why we didn't just hire help from the beginning. But we were determined to figure it out one way or another, no matter how long it took or how many mistakes we made along the way. With every misstep, we learned something new. Some lessons were small, others were frustrating, and many of them took way longer than we ever planned for. But we kept going. And honestly, for beginners tackling something this big, the outcome was pretty good. We're just a couple who enjoys doing projects together, learning as we go and saving money where we can. If our experience can encourage someone else to try or help you avoid the same mistakes we made, we already consider that a success. So we hope you enjoy our very first video as we share our project of building the foundation for our shed and the process of building it from start to finish. Before anything else, we spent a lot of time searching for the right shed. Not just one we liked visually, but one that met our town size requirements and had doors that opened exactly the way we needed. It sounds simple, but it wasn't. Every shed we liked was either slightly too big, didn't meet the code, or just didn't function the way we wanted it to. After weeks of searching, we finally found one that checked every box. The moment we realized it would actually work, we knew it was time. I'll leave the exact shed we used linked in the description below. We already knew where the shed was going. There was a massive bush in our yard that had been making life harder every single year. It was thick, overgrown, incredibly difficult to trim, and honestly, already dying. Every season, it felt like more work than it was worth. So at some point, we looked at each other and said, that's it, the shed is going right there. Cutting the branches down wasn't the hard part. The real challenge was what we found underground. The root balls were massive, way bigger than we expected. And once we saw them, we realized this wasn't going to be a quick afternoon project anymore. Thankfully, one of our neighbors stepped in with advice to use a reciprocating saw to cut around the roots, and together we managed to pull them out. He also suggested leaving the root balls out to dry, which allowed the soil to fall off and made them much lighter to throw away. Huge shout out to kind neighbors and hardworking sanitation crews. We definitely couldn't have done that part alone. To speed things up, we used the pull saw and the reciprocating saw to chop everything into manageable pieces. Those tools saved us so much time. We then wrapped everything neatly into small bundles so that the sanitation crew can easily take them. To prevent any remaining roots from growing back, we treated the area to fully kill them off. Next, we carefully removed the top layer of grass, the sod, making sure to keep the roots intact so we could reuse it later. Once again, the reciprocating saw came in handy. We transplanted that sod into bare spots around the lawn instead of wasting it. The clay soil underneath was incredibly heavy, so instead of throwing it away, we spread it out in the backyard where it could slowly settle. Then came the leveling. We used the hand tamper to flatten and compact the soil. Another neighbor lent us one, which we were incredibly thankful for. After a while, we realized one tamper just wasn't enough, so we got a second one to speed things up. Having two made a huge difference, especially since this part took way longer than we expected. Once the ground was compacted, we laid down weed barrier fabric and secured it with landscape staples, hammering them in with a rubber mallet to keep everything tight and in place. Then came the delivery of 3/4-inch crushed bluestone, dumped right in our driveway. Seeing several thousand pounds of stone sitting there was intimidating, to say the least. Our kids jumped in to help spread it, and honestly, that made the process more fun and more meaningful. It really felt like a family project at that point. We used a gravelable rake to spread the stone evenly across the area, then tamped it all down again to level it out. Or at least we thought we did. This was the moment we almost gave up. No matter how much we adjusted the stone, something always felt off. One side would be level and the other wouldn't. Fix that side and suddenly the first side was uneven again. It felt like we were going around in circles. This is the part where we seriously questioned our decision not to hire help. But instead of quitting, we paused and tried to think differently. That's when we decided to use concrete stepstones to create a more stable, level foundation. Before placing them, we installed steel landscape edging and corner stakes to hold everything in place. Looking back, this is a step we should have done earlier. So if you're doing a similar project, learn from our mistake. It doesn't have to be steel, but we personally felt more comfortable using that instead of wood. Once the stepstones were placed, everything finally came together. The surface was level, solid, and stable. We filled in between each stone with more crushed bluestone to make sure nothing would shift over time. That was a turning point. From there, we built the shed step by step, following the instructions carefully and double-checking everything along the way. My in-laws helped throughout the process, laying the stepstones, holding the walls in place, and helping at wherever they could. Those moments are memories we'll always cherish, especially looking back at how far we came to finally complete this project. Once the shed was fully assembled, we anchored it securely into place and officially completed the build. One of our favorite features is the natural light that comes through the small roof panels. During the day, it makes the space feel bright and open. At night, we added a solar shed light, which really finished the space beautifully. I'll link the light we used in the description below. After the shed was done, we filled in bare spots around it using leftover sod. A quick reminder, if you plan to reuse sod during a project like this, make sure to water it frequently so it doesn't dry out. We installed a privacy fence behind the shed to create a cleaner, more finished look. We also planted emerald greens, one for us and one for our neighbor, who was incredibly patient throughout this entire process. We're excited to watch them grow over time and see them fill in beautifully in their spots. To wrap everything up, we used the leftover bluestone to cover the area behind the shed leading to the fence, giving us extra space to store things. We finished it off with black mulch and solar lights around the shed, creating a polished and complete look. Looking back at the before photos, it's hard to believe how far we came. This was a project we once thought would never end. There was a steep learning curve, a lot of trial and error, and more than a few moments of frustration. But in the end, we didn't quit. And with another project officially checked off the list, we can finally say, we did it. If you enjoyed our first video, please give us a like and follow along for more real-life DIY projects, mistakes, and all. Now, on to the next project.